Facebook made a massive algorithm update in July, and I'll tell you what, it has been wreaking havoc with business owners who advertise on Meta, including Facebook and Instagram. And in this video, I'm gonna break down exactly what the change was and how to combat this so you're not left behind. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Okay, so the update was on Meta Andromeda. That is the AI algorithm that Meta uses to place the right ads in front of the right people. Now, this is a post from engineering at Meta. This happened on December 2nd, 2024, but it didn't fully unleash or give it to all advertisers until July. That's why I saw some wacky things in July. I saw cost per click go through the roof on some accounts. I saw it drop like crazy for others. I saw cost per lead do the same. We had some people change strategies completely from DM ads to book a call funnels and vice versa because the results just were kind of wacky, okay? Now, this engineering one, I'm gonna summarize this. This is kind of more about the AI algorithm and the updates to it. It talks about its partner with NVIDIA and other AI developments. Honestly, I read this and it wasn't that helpful, okay? So I found another one that I think is more user-friendly, so I'll link this down below. But at a high level, what Andromeda is doing is Facebook realized that their issue was that they had a hard time with ad retrieval. And that essentially means they had so many ads, they had so many advertisers. They had a hard time putting the right ad in front of the right person. So what we used to do is we used to make generic hooks. And the generic hook would be like, hey, if you're a busy mom trying to lose 20 pounds, here's the ad, right? So the generic hooks worked because Facebook had a hard time with retrieval. So those bigger hooks that called out a larger amount of people actually work better. But now what we're seeing is Facebook wants more creative diversity. So it's actually those big hooks that appeal to a lot of people aren't getting the cost per click, aren't getting the cost per lead, aren't getting the cost per sale, and aren't scaling like they used to. So let me break down this article down here. I think this one was written very well. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break down this article and then I'm gonna share with you guys on my iPad exactly what we're doing from a campaign structure, number of ad sets, number of ads, all of that at the end. So if you're a nerdy media buyer like me, stick around until the end, okay? So again, this will be linked in the description below. The biggest thing, like I mentioned before, is the problem was retrieval, okay? Andromeda is the new algorithm, right? And it takes millions of ads, narrows them down to a few thousand candidates, and it does it in a way that Meta claims is faster, smarter, and more personal than ever before. And again, like I mentioned, creative diversity or diversification is your new ad strategy, okay? So creative diversity does not mean just pumping out near duplicates with minor tweaks. It's about creating a range of ads that differ in meaningful ways. So previously, as an advertiser, I would have, I'd make a video ad, I'd have one body, and I'd have 3 different hooks. And then boom, there's my 3 ads. Well, Meta is saying, hey, we don't just want that, we want more diversity. So what we're seeing, and what I've heard a lot of other people in the space seeing as well, is that having the ad all the way through being unique and different actually performs better than having just 3 different hooks. The same thing applies to static image ads. If you've got a white background static ad, and you have a black background static ad, that's such a kind of minor near duplicates or minor tweaks. Again, this creative strategy and diversification that Andromeda is telling us to use, it does not want us just to do that, okay? It wants us to make more, okay? And again, I'll share with you guys how to do that at the end, but creative diversification shows up in a few key areas, right? Concepts and angles. So this is what is the ad about? What's the pain point? What's the hook angle that's bringing people in? It wants diversity in the formats. So it doesn't just want videos. It wants short videos, long horizontal style videos, static images in carousels, and then personas, speaking to different customer types. I'm going to talk about this when we get down to here, but this is going to actually, I would ignore this for the time being. If you have different personas, we're going to actually need to break those out into separate ad sets or campaigns. I'll talk about that again at the end, but I think this kind of actually confused it a little bit. So I'd say the biggest thing here is that it wants more concepts and it wants more formats so it can find the right ad for the right person because now it has that capability to do that, okay? So what this means now is we need to stop chasing that perfect combo of the ad copy and creative and feeding just one video ad and having one hook and one headline. That day and age is over, okay? I'm telling you right now, if you don't want to use the algorithm and you just want to try to be smarter than the algorithm, you are not gonna win. Meta makes billions of dollars. I believe billions, probably tens of billions. I don't know, but they make a lot of money. Okay. And their algorithm has so much data points on you and on all of its users. Do you really think that you're going to beat it? Do you really want to sit behind the dashboard and just pump, put $10 into this ad and put $10 out of this ad and just go back and forth? That sounds exhausting. Do not do that. I'm telling you right now. Instead, what Facebook wants you to do is, instead of trying to chase that combo, it wants you to load it up. It wants you to load the campaign up with multiple different ads, multiple different headlines, multiple different body texts, so it can find the right one. Okay. Targeting largely happens in the ad level now. I've been talking about this for a while now. This is just the way that it's going. Almost even now, if you are in the campaign setup and you're in an ad set level and you try to target like a very tight-knit group, it's going to go well beyond that. So it's not very good nowadays to have a very tight audience. Facebook doesn't even let you do it. So again, the ad itself does most of the targeting. The words you say in the ad and the body copy that you have in the ad are going to put this ad in front of the right people. Facebook wants us to keep using the Advantage Plus defaults. Okay, Advantage Plus campaigns are the cleanest fit. If you guys have been in the Ads Manager, you've seen there's the opportunity score. It is really pushing for Advantage Plus. Okay, Advantage Plus campaign budget, Advantage Plus targeting, Advantage Plus creative, all this stuff. Okay, we need to learn how to use this. Okay, there are still some settings that I have turned off, but I am working more and more on how do I give this algorithm more leeway. And the only way that that's going to actually work for me and for you and everyone else here is if we're optimizing for the right event. And I talk about pixel conditioning a lot, but we have to have a really healthy pixel that's only sending back qualified leads if we're going to follow this plan. If we're just going to optimize for leads or clicks or DMs, we're going to get a bunch of junk leads, okay? Because it's going to send us volume. So we have to learn how do we filter out and create more friction in our ads and through our process to allow the Advantage Plus to work for us. Because if we're optimizing for leads or messages, we need to get quality leads coming in, not just total volume of leads. If we don't specify that, that's what we'll get. Okay. And number 4 is simplify your structure. Okay. There are very few reasons to overcomplicate campaign structure, and you need a different campaign for each goal, but you may not even need that anymore. You will rarely need multiple ad sets for targeting, and you'll rarely need multiple ad sets. I think they just did a duplicate here. The heavy lifting happens at the ad level. Okay. So this is what I'm going to talk about at the end, because I think I spent so much time this past week trying to figure out what's the best campaign structure, and I'm going to share it with you from what I found. You know what the crazy part of this? I had a call with my meta rep. She had no training on this. She's like, I've been learning myself. I've been trying to get other people to learn about it, but they haven't made an announcement about this, nothing. So if you're just, talking to your meta rep, or you have like a business coach who's not in on this stuff, or a marketing coach and still teaching the same old ABO strategies, you're going to be left behind. All right, so keep going on here. Now, ad limits. So there was a time where Meta would only suggest 6 ads per ad set. There were times where we only said, 1 ad per ad set. Like back in the day, we would just force 1 ad in front of one audience to test it out. Nope. We then went from there to 3, and then it went to 6. Now that recommendation has disappeared. I know people who have 50 ads in an ad set, and it's working. Okay. Now this is where it gets complicated, and that's what I'm gonna show you at the end. It's going to be super cool. But yeah, so if you guys want to read the rest of this, let's go ahead and read it. But I'm going to share with you guys now on my screen, which I'm very excited about, the campaign structure of how we're going to be testing this. Again, this is all new to us too, right? This happened in July. We didn't know about it really until September. Not know about it. We let things ride for the month of August. It's September. I made changes to it last week. So again, there's a lot of changes that are happening. And as we learn more, we'll share more. Okay. So let's jump in. Okay. So previously, I'm going to say the old way right here. Okay. So this is the old way of running ads. We had a campaign. Okay. And then we had multiple ad sets inside. Okay. I'm going to go ad set 1, ad set 2, ad set 3. And oftentimes the old way is we just had 1 ad inside. Ad 1. Right? Add 1, add 1. So we would do this because we were trying to figure out what's the best audience to serve these ads in front of. So this was like kind of step 1. Once we found the best ad set, then the step 2 would be a very similar structure. So I'll just put C for campaign. Then what we would do is we would do potentially even like, yeah, ad set 1. And that was, let's just say this was the winner. Ad set 1, same thing. Ad set 1, these parentheses just mean ad set 1, ad set 1. And then we would even launch just like individual ads. So it was like ad 1, ad 2, ad 3. And, we were just trying to force a specific ad in front of a specific audience. Now, just to be clear, this old way was like 2019 through like 2022-ish way. And then in 2023, things started to change a little bit. They started to come out with some of this more Advantage Plus stuff, and we made some changes. And then here is kind of the more traditional way that I see a lot of people run ads now. So old-ish way, all right, the old-ish way was we'd have a campaign, okay? And then inside of here, we had ad set 1, ad set 2, ad set 3. Okay, so these are just like multiple different ad sets inside. And what we would do, we found worked really well, was we had the campaign budget set at the campaign level. So if I put like, $1,000 a day in here and I said, hey, I'm optimizing this for calls, what I used to do in this oldish way, was each of these ad sets here, right, were like proven audiences. And I typically would launch like a new concept, okay, a new concept in each of these. Okay, so each of these new concepts could be like, hey, I'm gonna do a B-roll ad. All right, so it's a B-roll ad. And that's just, let's just say that's ad set 1, right? This is to a proven audience, and this would be B-roll 1. And then there would be B-roll 2, and then there'd be B-roll 3, right? And let's say ad set 2 was a drawing video, right? So I'm using my iPad. Drawing 1, drawing 2, and then drawing 3, right? And then, same thing for this. This could be like talking head, right? So I'm just gonna say talking head 1, talking head 2, talking head 3. So this was how I used to run ads all the way up until this point. This was, I'm gonna say oldish way. This is, let's just say up until before Andromeda. So let's just go 2023 to now, as in before, okay? My handwriting is beautiful. All right, so this is what we're running. And this was super simple because all I had to do was just every time I had a new concept or a new idea, I would just launch a new ad set with that concept inside. And if Facebook liked it, it would spin on it. If it wouldn't, it wouldn't. Well, all that has changed now because as we just saw about here, the issue that Facebook was having was figuring out which of these ads to be served to what person. Now with Andromeda, this is all changing. So now the new way, okay, so this is the new way to run ads is this, okay? We have campaign, okay? And let's say this is for a, let's just say it's the VSL campaign. So this is like, you're running ads to a free training so people can learn about what it looks like to work with you, your process, and you sell them at the end, right? It's a VSL, okay? VSL, and then we do this, 1 ad set. And then we have 10 to 50 ads in that 1 ad set. And this ad set is broad, okay? Broad, and it really wants you to use Advantage Plus. Now, again, we're working on doing this. If you guys have been in there, they've actually added value rules to this recently. So what I've been doing, I've been using Advantage Plus audiences, but I've added a value rule. Okay, I've added a value rule for this ad set. So it's broad targeting, there's no interests. There is a minimum age set at the age of 25 age. And then what I've done here is I put a value rule on this. And the value rule is to decrease bid by 90% for, I'm just going to put it this way, for old people, okay? Because I found that people, I don't know, I run, learn how to run Facebook ads, but there is people 55, 65 plus who are engaging on my ads. And I was like, I want to give Facebook, this Advantage Plus audience, but I don't want any of these old people to opt into my stuff. So what I'm doing here is I just added a value rule, and you can decrease the bid by 90% for old people or whatever age range you want. You can do the same thing for gender, you can do the same thing for location, etc. But this is what I'm currently testing right now to combat that. I could probably still just go in and turn off, limit further reach of ads on the ad set level. And then when I do that, I could just set age range and turn off the suggestion. But I'm giving this a shot now. Just wanted to share that. But this is the new way. And we're just going to launch ads on a consistent basis inside of here. Now, the problem with this is the learning phase. Okay. It's something that we used to be worried about, right? Because every time I add a new ad into my ad set, it re-enters the learning phase. And if the learning phase decreases performance or it makes it reset the whole thing and you have a winning campaign, that could be a problem. Because what I would do with this concept here is I would just do new concepts. I would do this like 2 to 3 times per week. Yeah, more like most of the time 2, right? So I got a new set of ads I worked on that morning, or I was in Canva, made some ads, go in the ad set, launch them. Go in the ad set, launch them. But the problem with that, this worked fine because the learning phase happens at the ad set level, okay? But if we're launching ads inside of a new ad, an existing ad set, it's gonna reset the phase. Where over here, if I just launched an ad in launched a new ad set, sure, the learning phase would start, but it wouldn't affect the older campaigns. Now that's not the case. So when I launch the ad set, it resets the learning phase. So what I'm gonna do, at least this is the plan, is instead of dropping the new creatives 2 to 3 times per week, I'm going to drop creative 1 to 2 times per month, right? 1 to 2 times per month, drop 10 to 50 ads inside ad set, okay? And then once I drop them and I publish them, all right, so if I drop them and publish them, let's just say I've got 50 ads at the start of the month that are live, 50 start. And then every day I check that campaign. And what we're looking for are ads that are just not spending, okay? So ads that are not spending means Facebook doesn't like them. So, let's just say if I started with 50, this looks like so. I started with 50 to start. At the end of week 1, maybe I've got 40 left, right? And then the next week goes by, then I'm down to 30 left. And then maybe I'm down to 20 left of like the ones that are spending and are performing decently, right? So then when I'm working on my drops, I'm gonna look at these 20 and say, what's the common theme? Is there anything that I think I could do better, right? And then are there new angles that I could also hit with this? So I'm gonna just put first would be, creative refresh. And this is again, finding winners and make more, okay? Make more. And when I say make more, just like we talked about earlier, it wants creative diversification in formats. So if I have a winning video, can I turn that into a carousel? Can I take that same winning creative video and make it into a static? So I'm gonna do that, and I might even just take the same script and film it in a different area. So the first thing I'm gonna do is if there's 20 left, probably about let's just say, I'll probably make creative refresh. I'll redo about 10 to 20 that are creative refresh, already proven angles, right? And then the other part would be maybe 10, I'll say 10 new angles, right? 10 new angles, 10 different types of ads that could hit on different pain points and test those out, all right? So again, that month would drop, and then I would have 50 ads to start, and I would just keep doing that. So it would go 50 down throughout the month to 20 to 30, and then again, replenish what I've cropped off, okay? So hope that makes sense. That's what I'm gonna be doing. And have you guys heard what I was talking about there of I'm gonna cut ads when they don't get any spend. So because the way this is set up with 1 Advantage Plus and 10 to 50 ads in here, notice there is no top of funnel. So no top of funnel / middle of funnel / bottom of funnel split, okay? That doesn't exist. So with this new strategy, what we're seeing is that inside of the ad set, the ads work together, right? So you might have a top of funnel ad, right? Then you also might have a middle of funnel ad. And then you also might have a bottom of funnel ad. Again, this is creative diversity, right? So if we look at this setup, we put all the ads that we have in here because with this new algorithm update, what we're noticing is these ads here, they work together. Okay, they work together. Where previously, when I had this ad set 1, ad set 2, ad set 3, and they were all launched together, they were all independent. Sure, I'm sure Facebook shared some of that data back and forth, but not that much, right? So now, when we have this setup here and we're launching all these new ads, you might say holy cow, that's a lot. We can actually have ads inside of here that are more top of funnel, right? Top of funnel would be things like your personal story, right? Your personal story. Hey, here's how I got into this, right? I used to be 20 pounds overweight. I tried this thing, blah, 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 right? That. We could even have a value ad with a soft CTA, right? And then middle of funnel is going to be more direct with, click this link, get this thing. More direct with CTA for lead magnet. And then bottom of funnel would be more testimonials, okay? There's a lot of other ways we could do this, but let's say they're all driving still to the same funnel. I'm not going to get into, there might be an opportunity or an argument here where we could have different funnels inside of these campaigns as long as they're optimized for the same thing. I'm not testing that yet, but that might be a play here. Okay. Again, pretty crazy. But I would still drive, like, and all this would be to like a VSL funnel, right? So like top of funnel personal story, longer, talk about your experience, then drive to VSL. Value add, hey, here's 3 ways to do this thing. If you want to see more, click this link. Middle of funnel, hey, if you're struggling to get X, Y, and Z, you want this, go click this video and watch this thing. More around the pain and problem. Bottom of funnel, here's how I help so-and-so do X, Y, and Z. Go watch my VSL, right? So they're all, as of right now, my recommendation is that we're all driving to the same lead magnet. Again, after a little bit of time, that may change, okay? So this is the campaign structure that we're going to be testing. 1 campaign, 1 ad set, very broad, and just keep launching new creatives in here. And again, we're going to do that at a frequency of 1 to 2 times per month to prevent the ads set from going into the learning phase too many times, okay? You can have as many ads as you want in this. Again, the biggest thing here is creative diversity, okay? We're not doing this super controlled way anymore. It just doesn't work. This way can still work, okay? This can still work. I'll be honest and transparent. This one could absolutely work. It does help you organize things better, but there's probably gonna be a performance decrease because these ad sets here are not working together like they are in our new way. All right, so that's what I got in this update, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like this and you want more updates on Facebook ads, you want to learn how to run them, all the things, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. I create daily content just like this to help you grow and scale your business online. All right, peace.